Greetings everyone, my name is Tony Holowitz and I want to show you how to schedule a call, a meeting, or a to-do with Act Premium Cloud. So you'll notice over here on the upper toolbar, we have some options here where we can click on email, call, meeting, or to-do. Now, if I want to schedule a call to Nick Charles, all I have to do is go up and click on call, and the call dialog box will come up. Here it says call, but let's say I clicked on call by mistake. Well, I can click on this drop down and I can choose meeting or to do, or there's some other activities as well that I rarely use. Having stated that, I can put in call. I can change it if I clicked on the wrong button, as I showed you before. I can choose a different type, but I clicked on call, so I'm just going to type in follow-up. And this is going to be my follow-up phone call. Now, I can go down below and I can choose a start date and end date. I don't really need to do the end date, just the start date. So I'm going to click on this and you'll see I have a calendar. So let's say this person said, call me on the 25th, and they set a specific time. Well, I can say, okay, let's go here and choose 11 a.m. right here. There we go. The end time is 11:10. It's a 10-minute call. Now the location I don't really need. If I need to put in some notes down below, I can do that. Here there is no alarm, so I'm going to click on this drop down and I'm going to choose an alarm for 5 minutes before the call. Now, one thing about the alarm, there are some settings behind the scene you can go into and change the defaults. So instead of having no alarm, there's a specific alarm that always appears, so you don't have to do this step. So again, I can put in notes here if I need to regarding the call. I can change the look of it, not concerned with that at all. So now I'm going to come down and click on save. And when I click on save, I want you to observe that under this contact, under the activities tab, we see the call that is scheduled. And this is good because you can understand that the call has been scheduled and it's visual and you see it. So this is how you schedule a call. Now, a meeting or to-do is exactly the same. The only difference is when you click on meeting, in this option here, it automatically puts meeting in. Okay. When you do to-dos, same exact thing. Now, I'm going to give you a little comment on to-dos. I never use to-dos, and the reason I don't use to-dos is because of the simple fact that my feeling is if something is worth doing, schedule time to do it. You know, even if it's a 15-minute thing, schedule time to do it. Get it on your calendar. So I never recommend to my clients to use to-dos. The other thing I want to mention at this point, and I'll go into this in another tutorial, is that I rarely schedule calls unless someone specifically says to me, call me next Wednesday at 12:52. Now, I'm exaggerating, but I never schedule calls because of my approach and the way I use ACT. There are certain things that I don't schedule because I know I'm going to touch them periodically. Let me just talk quickly about what's going to happen once this call occurs. It's very important that you clear your calls. And the reason you want to clear calls or meetings or to-dos, whatever you've used, is because it creates a record. So because this activity is underneath the contact, this is one spot where I can clear it. I can also clear it from the calendar or the task list. But in this case, I'm just going to click on this little checkbox here, and I'm going to clear this. And at this point, I can put in notes. I can schedule a follow-up if I need to. That follow-up could be a call, a meeting, or a to-do. It doesn't matter. But at this point, I'm just going to click Save. And I want to draw your attention to something that will happen. Right here, under Call Reach, right now at the moment, it is blank. Now, the reason it's blank is because ACT doesn't know that something has happened to this contact. And there's two ways you can sort of tell it that something happened. Either you can navigate to another contact and come back to Nick Charles, or I could have pressed the F5 key or refresh the screen by clicking this. I'm going to click back, and when I came back, just the simple act of leaving and coming back updated this field, the Call Reach field. Now, the reason this field is so important in ACT is because this is a record of the last time you've called someone. Now, this reflects a call or a meeting. To-dos aren't part of this, but calls or meetings are things that when you create a scheduled item and then clear it, it creates a record or a history of that item having occurred. And this is so important because one of the things about ACT that you want to start thinking about is you can find contacts based on things that have and have not happened. So for example, in this case, this person's never received an email. They've never had a meeting. I never use call attempt because I always assume that one way or the other, either I reached the person by phone or I left them a message. So in essence, there was a call reach. I just don't want to complicate it. I don't think a call attempt is necessary. Having stated that, by having this field, this creates a record of the event. So if you said to me, hey, can I find all my clients that I haven't called for 90 days, I can do a lookup or create a query that will find all those contacts that I have not reached in 90 days. In this case, I use the example of clients. So this is just an example of scheduling things and how to work with ACT in scheduling either calls, meetings, or to-dos. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye now.